All right, we just landed in Los Angeles. One of the few times we probably left better weather. Nice little overcast going, we're not complaining. We've got a long drive, about 4 hours to where we're going, which is La Jolla, pretty close to San Diego. We're grabbing a guitar I've been admiring for years. We'll show you when we get there, but let's hit the road. We're going to my buddy Gary Gann's house. So Gary's been in a couple episodes. Not only collects cool guitars, but takes them out and plays them. He actually ran a guitar store back in the day. I think he grew up in one. And there's a guitar that he's had for a while that I've just been like, let me know if it's ever the right time, if you're ever thinking about it. So it's been years of kind of back and forth ping pong on that subject. And we decided to do the thing. But along with the guitar, him and his wife have some of the coolest houses I've ever seen. His wife teaches mid-century modern design. Gary last time told me that, you know, they'll buy a house and they totally lean into the era. Then they eventually will sell the house and they skip a decade. So really excited for you guys to see this. It's been documented in, you know, Architectural Digest, and he's just a groovy guy. His wife is awesome. They're both players, like I said. So excited to see him again. We're gonna be there in about 20 minutes and we'll show you the guitar that, you know, all the fuss is about.
Hola!
Gary! What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you been?
Been awesome, man.
You're traveling. You're a traveling man.
I'm a traveling man. Hey, how are you doing, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you.
What we have going on here, this is a house from 1961. We bought it from the kids of the original owner. When I say kids, they were our age. And Robert Liebner was the architect. He built the house for himself. He was a General Motors guy from Detroit, car designer. And somebody said, head west, young man. So he did, and he came out here to California and went into aerospace. And so you'll see later on about how this house is built, because we're literally floating on thin air right now. You don't know it, but you'll see that in a minute. So one of the big features of the house, of course, is this fireplace, which he designed with his wife, Becky, who lived in the house until she died, and that's we bought it from Becky's kids. And it's, you know, it's kind of sort of this Dr. Evil, James Bond kind of Calderous.
Absolutely.
You know,
villainous.
Villainous, yeah. And you know, we're standing 10 feet away from it, and it's working. You can you can feel it over here, yeah. So it's a fantastic piece of art in addition to being functional art. So we bought the house in 2019. Right at the beginning of COVID. It was April of 2019. So, you know, nobody knew nothing about anything. We didn't know if the world was going to end. We didn't know what was going to happen. So we decided to just take the project on, and depending on what happened over the next couple of years, we would figure it out as we go.
And we had a master craftsman that happened to be between gigs that we were able to get. So he built all the wood, all the cabinets, all the paneling. He built everything. He laid the floor himself. He did it all. He's just an amazing guy.
And what's his name?
So, John Vugrin.
Okay.
So what we did with the kitchen was we got photographs from the kids. I keep calling them kids.
Yeah.
The daughter and son-in-law, of what it looked like originally, because in the 90s it had all gotten changed. You know, it went to blonde wood and it went to curvy 90s. Particle board and just, you know.
It was nice cabinetry,
yeah.
But it was totally 1990s.
Yeah.
It just was not back to 1961.
Yeah.
So they had all these little snapshots, and the thing that they had was this reveal where there's no hardware on the cabinets, and there's kind of a black line in there, and so we copied that detail.
And again, this was a 60s kind of thing. You'd put your fancy barware in here, or your coffee maker, you know, or your wedding presents. You know. Yeah, that's nice.
Anything that's like a key characteristic we tried to bring back.
Yeah, so we brought this back. We did some swapping. The sink used to be here, and the stove was over there. You want to be cooking and you want to be looking out at the ocean. You don't want to be looking out at the ocean when you're doing the dishes. So here's your dining room table, and then the food. You know, I'm a rock guy, so I want my food hot. Okay, you know.
So walking in, speaking of rock, both of you guys, so they play together.
Yes.
What's the proper name for you guys as a group?
We are called the Gann Band.
Right? Okay.
Our name is Gann Band. you know, for years we had all kinds of fancy names like most bands do, and everybody says, you know,
Get the GAN band in.
yeah, just call yourselves by your name because everybody
Yeah.
knows you. And I thought, well, okay, Allman Brothers, Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, GAN Band. Yeah, that works.
That
for
works.
me.
So they had a show. We tried to get the schedule to align to go
tomorrow
see
night.
their show tomorrow, but Joan plays B3, Gary on guitar,
Right.
and you walk into this room, which I could spend the whole time in this room. First off, a Baldwin Acrosonic, the coolest mid-century modern pianos. I've been looking around these forever. There's a guy who, on Instagram, I think it's maybe just search Acrosonic, but he finds and restores these. Did Brian Ray got you guys hip to this
Yeah,
one,
Brian
right?
had one in his house in Palm Springs, and he called me up at about midnight, and he says, hey, I need some help. They're delivering my piano, and the guys didn't bring a dolly. And you know, I'm the guy that has everything. You know, I've been in the music business all my life. He says, you got a piano dolly? I said, of course. I said, I'll be right over. So we moved the piano into his house, and then he says, you know, you really ought to get one of these. You know, Brian's an enabler. So we got a call, I don't know, a couple months later.
Yeah, he says, there's one in LA, you guys should go look at it. I saw it, you should go buy it. And it's this one. So we went to the place he recommended called The Hunt, which is a vintage furniture, mid-century place, but they also do the pianos.
Cool.
So we met the owner, he was really nice, he let me play it, and you know,
Well,
we played
I've never
it.
heard of it. Would you play it? I want to hear it.
It's really, you know, for a spinning piano, it has a great sound. It's kind of a bluesy, you know. And it's got a really nice high end.
Come on.
So it's, it sounds great in this room.
It's kind of a Telecaster of pianos.
Yeah.
You know, it's real bright and kind of sassy. The guy that we bought it from, his father was Janis Joplin's manager. So when we were there, he had this file of pictures of Janis Joplin that he was showing us, and then when we bought the piano, he says, here, well, take one. So we...
Really?
Is that-
Is it like an
whichever
original
one you want.
headshot or what?
Yeah.
It is.
Seriously?
Yeah, Glotzer,
Headshot.
Bennett Glotzer was the guy, and and look at Janis. I mean, she's young and she's kind of
Beautiful. Yeah, I
kinda
love
nice
that picture.
looking
That's
and, you know,
amazing.
before the needle or anything. It's
Yeah.
just
So
sort
we
of
thought, what are we
innocent.
going to do with the picture? We should frame
Oh,
it
come
and
on.
put it on the piano.
Right.
So
That's
there
so
it is.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
And we didn't even put a fake autograph on it.
Yeah.
Is there any
Yeah.
chance this is actually hooked up right now?
Oh yeah.
You got
It
it.
definitely is. Definitely is. And
This is clean too. It's actually, I mean, if you're gonna have in your house, it's like, especially something that's just dialed in, seeing these examples that are just like flawless, that's,
Yeah, this one still got the stickers.
Yeah. I mean, you're this close to just being a roadie, dude.
That's right.
Amazing. Thanks for that. That's
Have
awesome.
you heard him play?
Oh, I've heard him. Everybody's heard Gary, but he's freaking badass.
So we play together,
Yeah, that's,
and really, it's a great setup. We've been playing since high school when we met, and you know, wherever we go, all we need is a bass player. A drummer, because Joan's playing left-hand bass, and then you know, we find some singers, and I think tomorrow we got a bass player, we got a sax player, we got a local singer.
man, how fun.
we got
I
a-
need to come see you guys, man.
We got a
Oh, I
harp
know.
player, you know.
One of these days.
So
the
do you
timing
play in
will work.
Palm Springs often?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot, yeah.
I'm gonna catch you guys. We'll do something.
Yeah, Palm Springs we play every week, and we play
Where do you play there?
we play at a place called PS Underground, which is a dinner theater. So what it is we play 4 20-minute sets, and there's 4 courses in between. and we do a theme show, and the food goes with the theme. So we'll do like Spy, and we'll do all the James Bond themes, and then it's all like Monte Carlo food. Or we'll do, we just did one called More Cowbell, where we did all of the cowbell songs. You know, Honky Tonk Woman, Don't Fear the Reaper, of course, Mississippi Queen, Play That Funky Music, White Boy. I mean, we cover all of the bases. I can't tell you what cowbell food is, but
we came up with it somehow.
It sounds protein-based.
Yeah,
so.
protein. Yeah, I think surf and turf would be the.
All right, should we continue? Do we go? I mean,
so this is the first spiral staircase in La Jolla.
okay, here we go.
All right.
Honestly, this is like an exception where I don't think the guitar necessarily takes all my attention in this house. There's so much.
Yeah.
This ain't bad. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and these are what I call working guitars. So these are the ones I actually play out on gigs. So you know, I got lots of guitars. So this is just a smattering. But there's some fun stuff in here. This is my my junior wall here. I got an Epiphone Junior, SG Junior, which is actually Les Paul in the headstock. And there's a 2 pickup, a couple of tellies over here. This is a nice Candy Apple Red 64 telly, which is that's a fun guy. Junior special. We used to do sound for B.B. King when he was alive. My real occupation is sound engineer. We have a company in Chicago called Gay and Concert Sound, and we do all the big outdoor festivals. So we were doing B.B. King tour, and he signed this one for us.
Amazing.
So that's a fun one to have. And then when we were in Chicago, Joan and I used to play with B.B.'s daughter, Shirley King. He has a lot of daughters. He has 16 daughters.
Wow.
Spread all over the country. But anyway, Shirley used to sing with us, and she's just like her old man. You know,
Yeah.
She walks out and everybody just goes crazy, and she's, you know. This is an interesting one here. This is like the
Those are so interesting with
like
the
the
Florentine
like
highlights.
the Beatles guitar that we all know and love, but me
So
being
is it a
electric guitar.
56 or something?
That sounds about right,
It's like
yeah.
a J160E with a Florentine.
Exactly.
Pedal. They're the weirdest guitars.
Yeah,
They're cool. I had one recently without the electronics.
Really?
And it actually sounded really good acoustic. Without ruining the decor,
Yeah.
maybe we'll revisit this. I have an extra hand if there's anything that's taking up room.
Oh,
I think you're
well.
perfectly puzzled right now.
Yeah,
but,
I don't
but
know.
keep in mind.
I got an extra 175. This is kind of fun. This is a P90 version of an ES5, like a T-Bone Walker guitar.
I always love those.
Yeah, if you have the real book, you know what the real book is?
No.
All right, so back in the day, they used to have these books we called fake books, and they were transcriptions of all of the famous Charlie Parker solos, and a lot of the guys from Lee Morgan, you know, the jazz guys back in the day, and nobody knew where these charts came from.
Yeah.
And there was a guy named Mark with a leather bag, and he would show up in the clubs, and fake book guys here, Mark's here, and we'd all go buy these books because they were illegal. Used to print them up like at a Kinko's or something, right? And so I thought, well,
The guy was slinging non-authentic sheet music?
yeah, it was sheet music. It was all the charts of all the famous solos. And if you wanted to learn all of that stuff back in the day, you know, if you were John McLaughlin or you were, you know, Larry Coryell or any of the early guys, you had to get your hand on this fake book. And it was about that big. Cool. And it had the binder, the plastic binder, and it was all handwritten stuff. So I took him aside one time because I had a music store, and I said, Mark, how many of these can you print? He says, I can print as many as you want. I said, well, listen, I got a music store. And he says, well, you can't sell these in a music store. They're against the law. And I said, there's a lot of stuff that happens in a music store that's against the law. You know, come on. So I said, call me the next time you're in town. I said, you got a number? He says, no. So he says, he gave me his number, but it was a payphone. And it's like if he happened to be walking by, I mean, really, you know, in dark glasses and the beard and the whole thing, you know, always like this, right? So, anyways, he started supplying me.
Are you him?
No, I'm not. I'm not him. I'm not him. But he used to bring me the books, and we used to keep them under the counter. And guys would come in, and you know, like guys I'd meet in the clubs, you know, and they'd kind of look around and go, "You got the real book?" I said, "Yeah." And we'd pull one out. And and they were expensive. They were $35.
Yeah.
Which back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, that was a lot of money. Big thick book. So The guy I got this guitar from, he was a limo driver. And he brought the guitar in, and he says, I want X, dollars in cash. And he says, and I want a real book. I said, sure. This kid knew we had real books. Limo drivers know everything. If you ever want to get anything and you're new in town, talk to the limo driver. Those guys know women, drugs, real books, cool guitars, hip clothes, whatever. Those are the guys. So he's thumbing through the book. This is a true story. He's thumbing through the book, and he gets to Donna Lee. And Donna Lee is a famous Charlie Parker solo that Jaco Pastorius played on bass. It's all written out. And the guy turns white. I said, Joe, what is it? He says, this is my handwriting. I said, what do you mean? He says, I wrote this chart. I said, what are you talking about? He says, I was at Berkeley when I bought this guitar, School of Music, and he says, this is my homework project. He says, I transcribed the Donna Lee solo. I got an A on it. He says, this is it. So we figured out that all of these handwritten charts were homework from the famous music schools.
Brilliant.
The guys, this guy Mark would go around to the teachers and say, hey, who's your best student? Oh, this guy. Well, show me some of his work. He says, oh, that looks good. And he'd buy it from him for $100 or something. And the real book was a collection of all of those solos. Now, 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, Hal Leonard bought it.
Yeah.
Got all the copyrights for everything, retranscribed all of it. Now you can buy it legit. What's the fun of that? Anyways.
I want the real book.
The real book, yeah. I should have saved one. Okay, we're heading down into the canyon. So when we bought the house, I was standing up there looking out at all this land, and I said, well, who does that belong to? And the real estate kid says to me, oh, that comes with the house. I said, you're telling me if I buy the house, I get the canyon too? He says, oh, yeah. I said, well, I'm from the Midwest. We're all about land in the Midwest. And Becky, the gal that owned the house originally, was from Glen Ellen, Illinois, which is right by where we're from. And she had taken this whole area down here and turned it into a cornfield.
No way.
So that's what holds this whole thing up. The whole half of the house there is cantilevered out about 80 feet, and it's all supported by these steel beams. And we have pictures of when they built the house. There was nothing here, just a big hole in the ground. So the land was probably $10.
Yeah.
And he came up with the idea to put these concrete pyramids in here, put the steel on top of it, and then they built the whole house on top of the steel. We hired some structural engineers, and the guy looked at it and ran all the figures, and he said, when the big one comes, he says, all these houses, all your neighbors, they're all going to be down here. And he says, and you'll be up here looking at them because this thing ain't moving. I said, sold. Okay.
Amazing.
So this was all corn. And when we got it, the corn, of course, was gone, so it was just an abandoned field. So we put in the dry stream and all these plantings. And then if you look over my shoulder there, that blue patch, that's the ocean. It's about 6 blocks from here. So you can actually walk through our canyon, and you come out in what's an area called Bird Rock. And if you walk down another block or two, you're in the water.
I don't think we walked this far last time. This
No.
is great, man.
Yeah.
Little lounge area up here.
Right, got a couple chairs.
All right, I got to see what you guys are looking at when
Sit
you're
down.
sitting down.
We're looking at the house,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Isn't that something else? Yes.
All right, here we go. You ready for the grand reveal or the Gand reveal?
Gand reveal, that's good, that's good.
All right, man. I'm like, I gave a little background. We've been talking about this guitar for a while, and I'm so excited to see it again.
All right. Now there's clean, and then there's clean.
Oh my gosh. 1957 Gibson Les Paul Gold
Right.
top.
I mean, look at the hardware. No pits.
Oh my gosh, man.
Look at those pickup covers. Original brushed nickel. you know, before they even put stickers on them.
And they're like so even. The patina is so even on that. Sometimes you see like the green,
Yeah.
or the string shadow, and damn.
I mean, look at the headstock. I mean, there's no chips.
God, it is.
I've
had some good ones, and you know, I love an old dirty gold top. You know,
yeah,
it's fun, but
yeah. We love an old dirty anything.
Yeah,
but when you see something like this, I mean, this is just crazy. You know, this is like a new guitar.
Damn, that's loud.
That's it. We haven't even plugged it in yet, and that's what it sounds like.
Look at these tuners. Have you ever brought this out on a gig?
I did one time. One time. We played this little last-minute gig, and it was the day it showed up. And I had just unboxed it, and I thought, I'm going to take it out.
Yeah.
And I did, and I had to, and I got to tell you, my favorite sound on this thing was middle position with the neck pickup at about 8.
Yeah.
That tone out of this guitar is just magic. It is a magic sound that I've never heard out of any other guitar.
Well, and for people at home too, like on a new guitar, you can't really mess with the volume and tones on them. You know, it's not musical at all. They kind of go 100 then nothing. But on these old ones, these old pots, man, you can really work those, and it brings out a whole different palette.
Like one of the tricks I used to do back in the day when I was in the high school band, I was telling Trevor that Paul Hamer and I were in a band together with Joel Danzig on bass. If you guys know anything about guitar builders, it was a pretty crazy group of guys. They're the Three Stooges
with two white JMPs also.
Yeah, we had two full 200-watt Marshall stacks. Yeah, Marshall Majors. We could only play outdoors. The Marshall Major, you know, it was like the world's loudest clean amp. I mean, it wouldn't break up like 100. It was just clean all the way to the top.
200 watts of just
like Johnny Winter clean, you know. So what I used to do is I used a fuzz face, which, you know, everybody had a fuzz face, and we all had a Crybaby wah, you know, that was the rig, even if you were playing a Les Paul. And then what I would do is I'd play in the treble pickup and I'd roll it down to about 7, and that would get me more like Strat voltage out of it. And then it sounded awesome. I could just play all kinds of Hendrix stuff, and it sounded great. You know, if I wound it out, then it was like really mushy and fuzzy. And
you have a boost already, right?
Yeah, if I need it for, you know, for solo or something. But just backing this thing down really made a difference. And I find myself still, when I play live, adjusting volumes and tones by reflex. I don't even think about doing it. I just a little finger, and I'm down here, and it's like, okay, I'm going for the high note, and
I do it.
When I get up here, I'm
just like
Let me show you some more fun that came with this guy.
Cool.
In case you need to change your strings.
Yep.
Okay.
And the original strap, which is also the burst strap.
Right. Sorry. That's the original strap. And then, check this out. Hang tag. Instruction manual, tune-o-matic manual. It's got it all. It's like I just walked into a guitar store in 1957 and bought me one of them shiny gold tops.
Oh, great weight too, man. Oh, cool.
Yeah, not real heavy. When I bought this,
this neck is amazing, Gary.
Isn't that unbelievable? There were 2 other gold tops sitting next to this one when I bought it, and this one was actually the
so loud.
The lightest weight of the 3. Isn't that crazy?
Come on, man.
It's like a banjo.
I mean, look at that. Unbelievable. Wow. Okay. The man doesn't lie.
Okay, we're making a quick getaway here.
Yeah.
We gotta get to the airport.
That door is just, thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
All right, hop in, let's go. Okay, we're off to the airport in style.
Man, this is one for the books, mint condition, 1957 Gibson Les Paul Gold top.